when Allied armor rolled across the battlefields of World War II, German engineers answered with some of the most innovative and lethal anti-tank technology ever conceived, from desperate close-quarters magnetic charges to massive artillery pieces that could shatter steel from miles away. If you love deep dives into military history, tactical engineering, and battlefield technology, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Small anti-tank rifles and light weapons. First, Panzerbuch 38. Developed in the late 1930s, this complex semi-automatic rifle fired a specialized 7.92mm tungsten cored bullet. It weighed a heavy 16.2 kilograms and could penetrate 30 millimeters of armor at 100 meters. Due to its prone-only design and frequent jamming in field conditions, it was quickly phased out of production. Next, Panzerbuch 39, PEZB-39. This was the simplified, manually operated falling block successor to the 38. It retained the same high-velocity 7.92mm cartridge, but dropped the weight down to 12.6 kilograms for better infantry mobility. Although highly effective during the early Blitzkrieg campaigns, advancing Allied armor thickness rendered it obsolete by 1941. Continuing, 2.8 centimeters Shore Panzerbuch 41, SPZB-41. SP-YIL P-Brew. This heavy anti-tank rifle utilized a revolutionary squeeze-bore barrel design that tapered from 28mm at the breech to 20mm at the muzzle. This extreme compression resulted in a blistering muzzle velocity of 1,400 meters per second. Weighing 209 kilograms on a wheeled carriage, it could easily punch through 60 millimeters of steel at close range. Towed anti-tank guns. Moving on, 3.7 centimeter Barkwonen 36, Pake 36. As the standard early war German anti-tank gun, it fired a 37mm projectile with an effective range of 300 meters. Nicknamed the door knocker by its crews, it famously struggled to penetrate the heavily sloped armor of Soviet tanks. Despite this, its lightweight 327-kilogram carriage made it incredibly easy for small infantry squads to reposition under fire. Next, 5 centimeters Panzerbewehrkanon 38, PK 38, introduced in 1941 to combat heavier armor. This 50mm gun fired tungsten-cored shells to pierce up to 130 millimeters of steel. It featured a low, curved gun shield and a lightweight tubular split trail carriage weighing 830 kilograms. It served as a vital stopgap weapon until larger caliber guns could be mass-produced for the Eastern Front. Then, 7.5 centimeters Panzerwehrkanon 40 PAK 40. This devastating 75mm cannon became the absolute backbone of the German anti-tank forces from 1942 onwards. Weighing 1,425 kilograms, it could accurately deliver a lethal armor-piercing shell up to 1,800 meters away. It was highly successful against almost every Allied tank it faced and saw extensive service until the final days of the conflict. Following that, 8.8 centimeters Panzerwehrkanon 43, PAK 43. Derived directly from the legendary 88mm anti-aircraft flak gun. This dedicated anti-tank variant possessed terrifying stopping power. Its massive 71 caliber barrel fired shells at over 1,000 meters per second, effortlessly destroying heavy tanks from well beyond 2 kilometers. However, its massive 4,380 kilogram weight made it extremely difficult for crews to retreat if their positions were overrun. Furthermore, 12.8 centimeter Barakanon 44, Pake 44. Designed as an absolute behemoth to counter ultra-heavy Soviet armor, it fired a massive 128mm projectile. It could reliably penetrate over 200 millimeters of steel at a staggering range of 2,000 meters. Weighing over 10 tons, it was a logistical nightmare to deploy, meaning only a limited number ever saw actual combat. Recoilless and rocket weapons. Shifting focus. 2.8 centimeters Panzerrevolver 600, PAW 600. This highly innovative late-war weapon utilized a unique high-low pressure system to fire a thin, stabilized, shaped charge projectile. Weighing only 640 kilograms, it was significantly lighter and cheaper to manufacture than standard anti-tank guns of similar power. Its 80mm warhead could reliably penetrate 140 millimeters of armor, making it a highly efficient infantry support weapon. Next, 8.8 centimeters Rossate 143, Pupchen, translating to doll. This was a close-breech rocket launcher mounted on a small, wheeled carriage to reduce recoil. It fired a devastating 88mm shaped charge rocket with an effective range of 230 meters. While highly accurate and lethal, its heavy carriage design was ultimately overshadowed by lighter shoulder-fired alternatives. Continuing, Raketen Panzerbuch 43, RPSB 43, Panzerschreck, nicknamed the Tank Terror. This reusable shoulder-fired rocket launcher was Germany's scaled-up answer to the American bazooka. It fired a massive 88mm rocket capable of defeating 210mm of armor at ranges up to 150 meters. Early crews had to wear protective masks and ponchos to shield themselves from the intense rocket backblast. Disposable anti-tank weapons, Panzerfaust, then advancing to Panzerfaust 30. This revolutionary single-use anti-tank weapon empowered a lone infantryman to destroy heavy tank from an ambush position. The 30 indicated its maximum effective range of 30 meters, utilizing a preloaded, black powder-propelled 149mm shaped charge. It could penetrate 140mm of armor, instantly turning urban environments into death traps for Allied vehicles. Next, Panzerfaust 60. This became the most common and widely produced variant during the later years of the war. By increasing the black powder propellant charge and reinforcing the launch tube, engineers doubled the effective range to 60 meters. This crucial upgrade made it significantly safer and more practical for desperate infantrymen engaging enemy armor. Then, Panzerfaust 100, pushing the disposable design even further. This version achieved an impressive effective range of 100 meters. It utilized a two-stage propellant charge consisting of 190 grams of black powder to accelerate the heavy warhead further without bursting the tube. Its armor-piercing capabilities remained exceptionally lethal, capable of penetrating up to 200mm of solid steel. Furthermore, Panzerfaust 150, as the final major wartime evolution of the series, this model was designed for extended engagement distances. It featured a redesigned, more aerodynamic warhead and a highly reinforced launch tube, allowing it to hit targets at 150 meters. It laid the direct technological groundwork for the reusable Soviet RPG systems developed during the Cold War. Mines and charges. Finally, Hafthohlladung 3 kilograms. This was a highly dangerous, magnetically attached shaped charge anti-tank grenade weighing exactly 3 kilograms. A brave infantryman had to sprint directly up to an enemy tank, slap the 3 strong magnets onto the steel hull, pull the friction igniter, and run for cover. Its shaped charge concentrated the blast inward, easily penetrating 140mm of armor plate. Next, Panzerwerfmine L. This was a hand-thrown lethal anti-tank grenade explicitly designed for close-quarters infantry combat. It featured canvas fins that sprang open in midair to stabilize its flight, ensuring the shaped charge warhead impacted the tank armor at the perfect 90-degree angle. Weighing just over 1 kilogram, a skilled thrower could destroy a tank from a safe distance of up to 30 meters. Continuing, Topfmine 35. This was the classic, widely deployed German anti-tank blast mine used throughout the entirety of the war. Shaped like a large, flat plate, it packed 5.5 kilograms of high-explosive TNT inside a robust steel casing. It required a heavy pressure of 180 kilograms to detonate, ensuring it specifically targeted the tracks and undercarriages of advancing enemy vehicles. Then, Topfmine. This was a fully non-metallic anti-tank mine constructed from pressed wood pulp, sawdust, and a tar-like waterproofing material. It was brilliantly engineered specifically to be entirely undetectable by early Allied electronic metal detectors, creating an invisible and deadly barrier. It utilized the unique glass igniter that crushed under the heavy weight of a tank tread to trigger the explosive charge. Following that, Glasman 43. While initially designed primarily as an anti-personnel weapon, these lethal glass mines became a stark symbol of Germany's resource-starved late-war industry. Its thick glass construction completely bypassed Allied metal detectors and created horrific, untraceable shrapnel wounds that field surgeons struggled to treat. It highlights the increasingly desperate asymmetrical engineering tactics deployed as the conflict drew to a close. Lastly, Panzerstabmine 43. Stabmine 43. This desperate weapon of last resort consisted of a shaped charge warhead rigidly mounted on a wooden handle. It was intended to be thrust directly into the tracks, engine decks, or weak points of a passing tank by infantry hiding in deep trenches or ruined buildings. It essentially functioned as an explosive spear, practically guaranteeing high casualties for the brave soldiers ordered to use it. Analyzing this massive evolution in weaponry gives us a chilling look into the brutal realities of armored warfare. From the early door knockers to the revolutionary Panzerfaust, which of these anti-tank weapons do you think was the greatest threat to the Allies? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Drop a like to support the channel, subscribe for more military history, and I will see you in the next documentary.